Okay, and the other day that I show you how I use sodium silicate to get the texture on this wedding gift. Today I'm going to show you how I finish trimming. Especially the base here will be a little bit thicker, so I like to remove some clay from the bottom. But for the vase like this, that it is small opening, it's very hard for you to get this piece and hold it very steady. So we need to have a chuck, okay, so that the shoulder will be able to sit it on the chuck and you will be able to trim the bottom. Okay, so here is the chuck. It's made out of clay, and you could make it at the same time when you throw your vase. Or usually I throw my chuck a little bit thicker. Okay, you can see that wall thicker, so it's a little bit heavier. So when your piece sitting down there, it's more stable. And I always like to get my chuck at the leather hard stage instead of let it dry or base fire or even high fire. Because when it's at the leather hard stage, when your piece sitting down here, you want to use the coil. The coil is going to stick. Okay, it's easier to stick on the leather hard clay instead of when you let it dry or when you bisque. The piece is going to be because the dry chuck or the bisque chuck is going to absorb the water easily, so your clay might, your holding clay might get absorbed by the chuck, and it's not sticking. So that's why I like to keep my chuck at the leather hard stage. And also when maybe when the size isn't quite fit, and you can actually trim your chuck. So you can trim a little bit, remove a little bit clay to get your piece to sit on a little bit better. Okay, so that's the two reasons that I like to keep my chuck at the leather hard stage. And how do you keep it at the leather hard stage? It's very easy. So each time after you finish trimming, maybe you can spray some water and just wrap up with a plastic bag. And I think it will stay at the leather hard stage for a long time. Okay, so first we need to center our chuck. Okay, and then get the piece on. Maybe it's hard for you to try to. You can buy from hardware store, or you can get this level, bubble leveler. You can just place it right in the center of your pot, and then you try to adjust it until the bubble is right in the middle, and that way you know that your piece is in the level first. And then so this piece is in the middle, so I know this part is level, and then you can just lightly adjust it. Okay, you can move your chuck to see if it's in the center. Now this part is very good in the center, so I will not touch it. So that's how you try to level it first, and then you can center it later. And then after you got your level and you got your center, you can just use a piece of clay, several pieces of clay to hold your chuck, and also to hold the pot. Like I told you that my chuck is at the leather hard stage, so the clay coil is easy to stick on my chuck. What if you have a chuck that is has been bisque fire? You want your clay to be able to stick on it. I have a way for you too. I have a tip for you too. You can put the whole chuck in the water. Okay, if your chuck is it's been bisque fire, dip it in the water. Let it soak in the water, or you can brush a lot of water onto the surface of your chuck, so that your chuck has been wet, so it's not gonna absorb a lot of water from your holding coil, and your coil will be easier to stick on your chuck too. So that's the one other way. If you have your chuck has been bisque fired, you can do that. All right, so now usually when your piece is using the sodium silicate, you stretch it, most likely you will have lots of clay build up in the bottom corner, because it's very hard to stretch from here. It's easier to stretch from this part here, but at the bottom it's hard to stretch, so you might have a lot of clay in here. So I usually like to remove some clay from the bottom. The tool I'm using, this is my number 2 trimming tool. That this part is smaller, so you don't get the vibration or chattering. And I use my number 2 tool a lot for the general trimming. So this is how I hold it. Usually I hold it like holding the pencil, and hold it quite steady. And even with my left thumb here extended, so my tool can rest on my thumb. And you can go from the top to the bottom, and then you can move your tool from the bottom to the top. So for trimming, you want to be the surface smooth. One tip for you is that when you trim, you move your tool slowly. that you can spin the your wheel a little bit faster. So that you will be able to cut that surface smooth. Remove the clay in the center, in the middle here. This part is a little bit thick. So first I will get the corner of my tool to make a little mark here. So this is going to be the foot ring. So the middle part, I don't need the clay. You can either try to remove the clay from using just the corner of my tool. You can go from outside to the middle, and then you could go from the center and slowly move the tool to the outside part. This part is planned. Maybe I would do a little bit of glue lines for the decoration, and I'm going to use my number 3 tool, but there's a little around the corner here, so I'm going to use that to just one by one. Get all the ridges to one by one. Okay, so just get my, I call this yellow stone, it's yellow color. I use that to burnish the foot. Just compressed it. Just put the my stamp. Okay, so that's the trimming part of my wedding gift for my nephew.